Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
Boing.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Sean Bono! It's all about the Sean Bono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Libertius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seed.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we're in the second hour, Barbecue Central show, where we talk about all the important stuff. You know it. Barbecue and grilling related stuff. Non-barbecue and grilling related stuff. Why not? It's all fun. It's all fair game. Doug Scheiding is still set to come on this show in about 5 minutes from now. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through our video streaming platform partners. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show or twitter.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can take it in on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. We have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody. Do you remove the membrane off of your rack of spare ribs? And 92% of you now are saying yes, you do. But as we learned in the first interview segment in the first hour with Pitmaster Deluxe Aaron Franklin, we should not be doing that at all. We should be leaving it on. That emboldened Smokin' Joe's barbecue pit to say, I told you to leave it on last week. So we'll see how the rest of the show plays out here this evening. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, episode 344 from a July 3rd, 2013 show. This week, John features me. And back in 2013, I brought to you, the audience, a medical first that bring... So weird. I brought to you a medical first, the first ever proctophilia diagnosis. Do any of you know what proctophilia is? Don't Google it. Just answer yes or no. And if you answer yes, you have to tell me immediately what it is, but don't search it. Be honest. Are you someone that suffers from it? If you are, please email me immediately so you can be on the show next week and we can talk about it. If you aren't aware of what it is, I'm not going to spoil it for you like I normally would in this type of a situation. Just make sure that you grab the show on Friday. Get yourself up to speed on this issue that evidently is still sweeping the nation, even in 2024. Sickos. You can subscribe to the show by visiting thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe, which is also the way you want to be able to subscribe to the feed and get the best of show, because you can only get it through the podcast feed. Don't forget, if you want to hear a guest or segment again that's been lost in the show archives, email our pal John Solberg, Jon, at thebbqcentralshow.com, and he will do his best to meet your expectation. The Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series rolled into Taylor, Michigan this past weekend, and winning it, Chiggin' ain't easy. Can I get a oh yeah?
Hey everybody, can I trouble you for a oh yeah?
Reserve Grand Champion PB&J's Barbecue. Both Chiggin' Ain't Easy and PB&J's Barbecue have now earned spots into the 2024 World Food Championships Barbecue Division. We congratulate them and wish them good luck in November when that actually takes place in Indianapolis, Indiana. The next Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series event is this coming Saturday, August 3rd, if you can believe it. Already in August. Where's it going? Going back to Joe Martinez, a.k.a. Martine Martinez, El Paso, Texas. 2 events this year in the Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series. This event, however, is full. There are some revamped contests as far as a number of contests that have opening spots left. So Minnetonka, Minnesota, as of 2 days ago, 1 spot left. On August 10th, a week after that, Sioux City, Iowa, 3 spots left, August 17th. And then, of course, the Columbia, Maryland one, which is the last event of the series, still 1 spot left. You can find out more past results and the remaining schedule of future events by visiting worldfoodchampionships.com/allstars. And we're caught up. How about that? Very good. I didn't think we were going to be able to do it, but by Jove, we've done it. We're back on the clock. The clock! We just had Aaron Franklin on in the first hour, so why not talk about his brand of barbecue pits, which A, he is building, and B, they are selling. What you have with the Franklin pit, a deeply thought out and refined version of the old propane-style cooker that Aaron built for Franklin Barbecue. Stylistically, it reflects the kind of bare-bones, industrial, handmade aesthetic that he loves, as in the patina, and the way the build allows you to see the welds and the craftsmanship. The Franklin pit is primarily made of quarter-inch thick American-made steel. That's strong. Anything that sees heat is engineered to be incredibly solid, should last at least a century or more if cared for properly. The thickness of that steel guarantees professional-grade heat retention, which is a critical component to making great barbecue. Every Franklin pit unique unto itself, which includes their own natural markings and its own badge number. Franklin pits can be found at barbecue specialty stores in select regions of the country. If you, the listener, are an owner of such a store, you wish to become a certified Franklin dealer, please visit franklinbbqpits.com and fill out a dealer form, or just email me. I'll put you in touch with the right folks. If you, the listener, want to own a Franklin barbecue pit, but you live in a part of the country that doesn't have a certified Franklin dealer nearby, you can visit franklinbbqpits.com and purchase a pit. Franklin Pits will ship a Franklin pit right to your driveway. Either way. Or what if you are the owner of the store, you want to become a certified Franklin dealer, and you want to buy an offset pit, bring a couple in, buy one of your own, it's a win-win. Probably get a discount. Either way, franklinbbqpits.com. That's franklinbbqpits.com. Our pal Doug Scheiding is up next. Stick around.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet, currently available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a professional, it's a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. pitbarrelcooker.com is the website. Just make sure you tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. My first guest in the second hour is someone you hear pitch in on the show the 4th Tuesday of every month in the second hour during the Embedded Correspondence segment. He is the longest running embedded correspondent. He's also a very accomplished competition cook and a contractor for Traeger grills. You've seen him pull solo segments on the show talking about such things as social media growth and other things. And tonight we welcome him back as we continue an interview about his budding rub business. Our pal Doug Scheiding joining us here on the show. Doug, YouTube poll question of the week, and I'm wondering if you're going to give me a different answer a week later. Are you going to start removing the membrane off the back of your spare ribs, yes or no?
I'm going to continue removing the membrane off of my spare ribs.
All right. 92% of you are saying that you will remove the membrane off of your spare ribs. I don't know what else to say other than Aaron Franklin was on the show in the first hour, and he said neither in the commercial setting nor in his backyard is he wasting his time taking off the membrane of spare ribs, which he prefers, and also bolstered his argument by saying that the membrane is water soluble. So this nonsense of being a flavor condom that Meathead used to call it back in the day is nonsense. You get flavor fully. You don't have to worry about it. So quit wasting time and just don't take it off. Is that not enough to sway you?
No.
It's Aaron Franklin. So, it's not, Joe Shit the Rag Man. It is.
He knows a little bit about barbecue, maybe a hell of a lot, but, and more than he's forgotten more than perhaps that I know. But anyway, I'm going to continue to take it off. I actually think I am convinced now that I'm always an A/B test cook. The next time I make some ribs, I'm going to have some A and B, and one will be on, one will be off, and we'll kind of see about it. So when you go to restaurants. And especially if it's cooked on an offset, that membrane tends to kind of crisp up, I think. And that's actually not a bad texture when you're eating a rib at a restaurant, et cetera. But if you're in competition, and the competition guys, you just don't want that. That could be off-putting to somebody. Sure. And that's just something you can't take. So I just get in the habit of it, and because I'm always cooking for competition, it's just something I do. But on beef ribs now, I definitely leave it on beef ribs. Definitely.
So my house is very into what they like and what they don't like, and they've only ever eaten ribs sans membrane, whether it be baby back or spare ribs. So I'm not telling them, unless they're watching right now, which I highly doubt. I'm not telling them that I'm not pulling the membrane off the ribs anymore and see if anybody even notices, because this could be a great tragedy of my life, knowing I could have just left those membranes on all of this time. When I go to the restaurant, when I went to Truth Barbecue for the first time, early last year, I flipped the back over. I saw the membrane on there, and I just, whoop, it just flips right off, and didn't even think twice about it. Kept eating the ribs, no big deal. But I don't know if they're that schooled on it, or what they would know from a visible sign if a membrane is on the back or not. But I'm going to roll the dice and take the risk. Is that smart?
Yeah, I think it's a great plan and a great idea. I think this is fantastic. Right. And I'm almost willing to bet, because do you cook your ribs kind of KCBS bite through sort of thing? And
for sure. Very tender. Very tender.
In Texas. Oh, very tender. Okay, so tender. It's more of a little bit closer to fall off the bone.
Yeah, a little closer to that.
It is. Okay. Then they may notice it. I think if you didn't do quite the level of going to fall off the bone, I think it might be less noticeable.
Doug, we did an opening segment on the topic that we continue talking about here this evening back at the very beginning of March, if you can remember that. And here we are.
March 12th.
March 12th, that's right. Almost 5 months later, here we are. And we aren't announcing that your business venture is closing. In fact, it sounds like the opposite, that it's a budding sensation. So bring us up to speed from a production and a distribution and a sales standpoint since March.
Yeah, so in March is when my rubs went in full production. And of course, we went, talked about Home Depot coming to Old World Spice and getting them to do a pre-production and that kind of stuff. So that was all good, except it pissed a few people off. But March, full production. Towards the end of the month, it actually was supposed to be into February, and they ran out. There was an ingredient that they're waiting on, et cetera. So in April, I went to Shields, talked to them about it. So hopefully I can get into Shields, because I was doing that Shields University up there. And I know that it was presented to two major retailers. And one of which, in addition to Home Depot, it looks very positive to get in 2025. I was the only one, as far as I know, in the Old World Spice, the Pitmaster program, to get into a major retailer, let alone have the major retailer come and ask them to produce it within the first year. Normally, it kind of takes off a little slowly. And so this has actually been kind of a fast track and nothing I anticipated. And it's just kind of hard to believe. So, am I making millions of dollars? No, I'm no Malcolm Reed or anything like that, but it's picking up at it's at a pretty good pace. I couldn't imagine that it would have sold this well.
Is Home Depot the major retailer that you're talking about here?
No. In addition to Home Depot, there's two other major retailers. One of them is Who? Yeah. I am hoping. Yeah. He knows me through the Ace Hardware. How about Ace Hardware?
Oh, all right. Yep. Good.
So yeah, I'm hoping to get into Ace. So I think that looks positive there. In May, I went back to Home Depot and headline, did 2 demos on Friday and Saturday. Was started the day off at noon both days.
You're talking about really Memphis in May. You didn't say that, but that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, Memphis in May. I'm sorry. So yeah, Memphis in May. So yeah, not Smoke Slam, but Memphis in May. So did that. So that was the second year. So I was glad that I got asked to come back, and it was a lot of fun. So this year I had all 3 of my rubs. So I used them in one day I did brisket, and the other day I did beef ribs. So June I established a relationship. One of the things I didn't plan well is because in March it was released, and then it was only available on Barbecue Spot. It was like, whoa, just like the next day it was up, and I'm like, oh crap, I need to get a couple other outlets, So, because you don't drink wine, but when you go to a winery,
I have,
and maybe I said this before. Yeah. Okay. Well, do you go visit wineries?
Yeah, of course.
When you go to the
really
winery,
good ones,
the winery. Perfect. Yeah. So when you go there, the wine is always most expensive at the winery, right? And it's the same way when you go to the Barbecue Spot website, that's the most expensive place because they don't want to undercut any of their resellers.
Yeah.
In established pricing. So they're even a little more expensive than Amazon, if you can believe. But anyway, so I didn't do a good job in that, and so I spent a week or 2 getting a few places. So I'm on barbecueproshop.com, national website, selling it, and then also here in Texas, I got with Texas Star Grill, and so that got me a relationship with Texas Star Grill in Houston. Rick Martin, who and Corey, his son, and Michelle, and I actually had them out at the Houston Rodeo, and met Rick and Michelle face to face at the Wild Game Crew in the tent and stuff, and I talked to him about the rubs, and we kind of said we'd get back together, and we never did. And then I contacted him and said, hey, I've got these rubs, would you be interested? And he's like, yeah, let's get him in the store. And so then in June they asked me to come down. I was going to Galveston, and he said, oh yeah, you might as well come in and do a class. And I said, okay. So each 30 some people in one of their stores, they rearranged everything, and then each of the attendees got all 3 rubs. And so it was pretty good. It was a 2-hour class. Actually, I talk a lot, so it's, it went over to 2.5 hours, but he's saying, but hey, when I got there, it was actually fun. When I got there, one of my buddies said, hey, I showed up at 1 for the 5 o'clock class. And he was like, if
Doug?
Hey, are you back, sir? You are so lucky that I just didn't fire you right away and say, we'll come back next week, sir.
Unbelievable.
Has that ever happened?
Never during a show like that. No, never.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've had
that was weird.
Every once in a while, and this hasn't happened with this machine, so once the show ends, we're firing an email off to the computer guy and going, well, I don't know what the hell happened, but do I got to bring it in? Do you got to run a thing? I don't know, but I can't afford to have it crash during the show. This is the most important part.
The whole time I was like, oh, what's he going to do to test it over the next week? I was like, he's going to put himself through the paces testing this vet. Has there been a cat sighting?
No. It's funny. Jeff and Drizzy just said cat piss ? And then there's no. These things are up on stilts, protected at this point. So piss on my computer once, shame on you. Piss on my computer twice, shame on me.
Oh shit, that's funny.
All right, so I don't know where we left off there.
I was at Texas Star Grill. Cooked prime rib roast and served that as the appetizer and stuff. So, but that went really well. And then I've gotten some Sam the Cooking Guys featured it in a couple of videos and stuff. And so I'm sure that's helped. Home Depot just recently, they have, when it was originally introduced, it was just 5 rubs and it was a promo item. It actually had, they could tell by the SKU that it was a promo item. And so a lot of, even my local store, I had trouble getting him to keep it in stock because he said that's a promo item. They would get a separate delivery instead of coming in the main delivery of all the crap that they order every day. And, that's problematic. Who wants a separate delivery? So now it's in, I think it's in 5 distribution centers around the US for Home Depot. And so they can order directly when they order lawnmowers and, whatever else they're ordering and stuff. So, so it comes directly to them. And so I think that's helped. I've got one out of Southeast that last month they ordered 200 bottles, I guess for some of their stores and stuff. And so, and hopefully it's not finalized yet, but looks like there could be a pretty good expansion, perhaps in Home Depot next year for myself and also some other rubs.
So what kind of logistics are we looking at? I think when people listen to this, if they don't know our backstory and the history we have, they're just learning that maybe you're a guy that has gotten into rubs. You're seeing some success here through a certain amount of Home Depot stores, but does Home Depot call Doug and then Doug ships them stuff? Like when people put in orders, where does that order go and how is it fulfilled?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. Man, that's one of the most intelligent questions I think I've heard in my 24 years.
That's one of the most intelligent questions anybody has ever asked me.
Exactly. What you didn't ask in your interview, but I was with Head Country. Kind of a little bit of the backstory is I was with Head Country, and they encouraged me to develop a couple of rubs. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure, I'll play around with it a little bit. But little did I know that they were being in the process of being bought out by Old World Spice. And I was a commercial mix guy. I mean, back when I first started my cherry chipotle ribs, I had a specific rub that I developed for that, and I made it every couple of weeks. And I tracked it down. They weren't tasting the same, and stinking HEB had started using a different supplier of smoked paprika. And I'm like, all right, forget it. I'm always going to use commercial rubs, and have a predictable taste and work on flavor profiles that way. But Head Country had convinced me that I should. And so when I found out they were with Old World Spice, I'm like, oh, okay, this is real deal. And so they told me to get some rubs done. And so that's when I developed the 3 rubs. The brisket rub is I just went back and actually it's kind of a good thing because, when I cook, you get off track and stuff like that. My brisket rub is my original brisket rub that I used in competition, like in 2010 to 2014 or so. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like 95% the same as what I did with that. And then the other rub was just my all-purpose rub is one that I developed. And the finishing dust, I had actually started to make a dust about the last couple 2-3 years anyway, and was playing around with that because I wanted something as an alternative to White Lightning for competition, because you can see that white, the white, and I know KCBS, they put it on the bottom side, but on IBCA, we put it on the top. So and so I kind of played around with it, and I designed it to kind of be like crack, so that you can't you can't put it down, and it's loaded with MSG, so just like white lightning is. So so it's been interesting. So and then I forgot to mention that United Markets, kind of in West Texas and Central Texas, they have like 71 stores. They picked up all 3 rubs. And so they're doing a test pilot. And so it's a division of Albertsons. So Albertson owns like 4 or 5 brands. And in fact, I've been told that up in the Dallas area, it's in Albertsons up there. And in fact, when I went to my high school reunion in Clovis, New Mexico, who the hell's heard of Clovis, New Mexico? One of my classmates said he found it in Clovis, New Mexico.
Really?
And I was just like, yes. When we were there for my reunion, it was really kind of weird. But so anyway, so it's gotten picked up in a few places and stuff. And so I've been real surprised at. I thought the brisket rub was going to be my star because that's my competition one and the one that I've worked on for so many years. And then, but so many people are using the dust and the all-purpose, is good as well. So I love all 3, but a lot of people love all their stuff that they make, and you just don't know if other people are going to like it as well.
Does the all-purpose have a hint of chili powder in it?
Yeah, it has New Mexico chili powder, specifically New Mexico chili powder. And because I just think that has a little bit more of a bite or kick than normal chili powder and stuff. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The brisket rub has a little bit of mesquite flavoring in it. And it doesn't taste bitter, in my opinion, like, the dreaded urine liquid smoke sort of thing. And so, yeah, it's actually a nice accent to it. So, I like that. And then, there's several rubs. There's a rub out there called Piggy Bank from Aaron Leslie, Texas Oil Dust. It has a smoky flavor to it. Yeah. So he's a competitor down here. So I think that's part of what I had done is because on pellet cookers, especially with brisket, I wanted to inject a little bit of smoke into the rub in addition to, putting it on with the smoke from the pellets and stuff. So, probably kind of going along. I'm going to change the label slightly between my brisket and my all-purpose rub, because on the shelf they look pretty much the same. Yeah. So I'm going to just add a hint of color to the all-purpose rub, and then that'll be probably in the next production run. But it's been interesting. I think, I totaled it up today. We've sold over 5,500 bottles, 5,500 bottles in the, since basically, this year, and we didn't even have any rubs out for 2. Now, you asked about logistics and I got way off track, but through the Old World Spice program, they do the production of, we match the rub. I did the trademarks. In fact, I talked to our friend of the show, Suzanne, last week, and about my trademarks. And so Old World Spice takes it. I just turn everything over to them, because the last thing I want to do, and Chef Ray, she and another co-host of the Baseball and Barbecue podcast, he's fulfilling those things, all the orders himself.
Wow.
And that just seemed, and so, no, I didn't want anything to do with it. That's why I was in a panic. That was why, when the rubs were announced and they're available, I was like, oh, I need somebody else to do that, because I'm not filling packages and people ordering from me, so that just sounds painful. So they actually keep it in their warehouse, and they will, submit, and they have a good distribution channel, they've got contacts with HEB, Menards, Shields, Ace, they've got them all. So, Academy, so they can make presentations on your behalf. If the rub is doing well, I presume, that, to the buyers of those organizations. So Old World Spice has all that built into one roof, and I'm just damn lucky that I was able to get into the program. I think it was the last one, Abel.
How much are you working on it yourself? You doing a lot of rub work? business-wise?
When you say rub work, I should be doing more. I should. So I should be going at, I was by a local facility today, and I dropped some rubs off because I know the owner and stuff. And so I am, I want more of the mom and pops. It's like some of the stores, like our buddy Owl's Nest and in Ooltewah, and Wanamaker's in Chicago has it. Iowa Barbecue Store. There's a few there. I think there's one in Memphis and one in Nebraska and stuff. So there's a few stores that have picked it up. And there's some company out there that's selling it on Amazon. So it's, when you Google it, it'll come up on Amazon. So yeah. Wow. And I've seen they've made 5 or 6 orders. So I get a summary every month that basically says, this is who ordered, this is the quantity, and this is how much was sold. So I know pretty much who, I've seen a few of my competition friends have been buying it too. So, so when it's, when it's through Old World Spice, I see that. So yeah, it says who it is and stuff. So, whether it's Home Depot or United Stores or whatever.
Where would you like to see it at the end of the year?
At the end of the year, I would like to see that hopefully we can get in, or at least be on the path to getting in to more Home Depot stores, and perhaps having at least a second rub in there. So that's kind of what I would like. And much to my dismay and surprise to myself, even, I'm working on a steak rub.
Oh yeah,
because it's my competition steak rub that I used at the Jack Daniel's when we got first in Chef's Choice, and so that's my steak rub that I use almost all the time. So so I'm working on that. So we'll see how that goes, and if I can talk them into producing that. So, but my sales have been pretty good, so I think they might be interested in that.
How much money's in your pocket from rub sales right now?
I can't tell you specifics, but just I figure I plan on getting about $1 a bottle, and so that on the wholesale price, that's actually not bad, because they're selling it. Prices are anywhere from $10 to 14 something on Amazon to $17 on Barbecue Spot. But most of the orders, I don't know the exact numbers, but I would think that maybe there's volume discounts or whatever, for the major stores, versus someone just getting it.
So
getting an account.
So you're about $6,000 in the pocket, give or take. You said you're selling about 5,500 bottles so far.
I'm cash flow positive.
Is that that good enough for you?
For right now, yeah, it is. Yeah. So I would like to, to get more penetration into the larger stores. Some of them have too many rubs, tell you the truth. Sure. I actually like the mom and pops a little more. And so I personally, I haven't been good in terms of going after other brick and mortar stores in different cities and kind of, asking them if they'd be interested in taking on the rub and selling it. So, but it'd be nice if I had some sort of connection with them instead of, just calling out of the blue sort of thing. So
the easiest way to get Doug's rubs in your hot little mitts is to go to rowcookers.com and then click on the shop navigation channel at the top of the page and then buy the rubs right there. They are available. You will get them. And you can also look forward to a potential rub giveaway that our pal John Solberg is going to be doing here at some point. So we'll see what he is up to with that. Very good. Yeah. Great promotion from our pal John. Love that.
I greatly appreciate that. Thank you, John.
Doug, always appreciate the time. Thank you for the insight here on this rub stuff. And we will talk to you at the end of next month, if not sooner.
Sounds great. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Doug.
And
what?
Get that computer fixed.
Yeah, all right. That's enough. I'll try. I'm going to try. Going to try really hard. I don't even know what the hell happened. It's the worst part. All right. Get back on track here and then close it out. We're getting close to the hour. A very disconcerting blue screen of death. Hey, are you ready to score that perfect 180 on chicken, ribs, pork, or brisket? Big Papa Smokers has you covered for the best rubs, sauces, and injections in the business. For a limited time, use promo code BBQ Central. That's BBQ Central and get $10 off all Big Papa Smokers products. All of them. 10% off the secret ingredients the championship teams swear by and win with weekend in and weekend out. Don't miss out on this incredible offer, whether you're aiming for a GC, your next barbecue contest, or just looking to take your barbecue and grilling foods to the next level of awesomeness. Remember, your food just got better with Big Papa. Offer valid now through October 31st. That's Halloween. Visit BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BigPapaSmokers.com. And use promo code BBQ Central at checkout for 10% off the entire order. Let's put a wrap on this thing. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Craig Rempe.
I want to thank Doug Scheiding for joining us last segment. Not sure exactly what happened with the crash, but we're back up and running. RoadCookers.com is the website. Buy his rubs. This portion of the show being brought to you by JRE Tobacco, a family-run brand, a vertically integrated manufacturer known for its authentic Corojo tobacco, grown at the JRE farms in Honduras. This is a original Cuban seed of Corojo. Flavor characteristics are unique, brings you back to the golden area of cigars in Cuba. From 1947 to 1961, their approach in blending prioritizes flavor to give contemporary smokers a sensational experience with a range of blends, making sure there is something for everybody to enjoy. Find a retailer near you by visiting jretobacco.com. Our friends over at JRE, the makers of Aladino. I'm going to quit while I'm currently ahead, if you don't mind. I'm all wrapped up on my business end. I had some things to talk about in the open segment, but not enough time. But we can get to it next week. Why not? All the way back in the first hour, we had our pal Aaron Franklin join us. We ended up talking about ribs a lot. Didn't even get sidetracked on the other topic that I thought we might get into that I wasn't allowed to talk about. Aaron Franklin is on vacation right now from Franklin Barbecue. They're closed down, so don't go there this week. And then we had Bill Oakley back on the show after Aaron Franklin. At that Bill Oakley on Instagram. He's got a barbecue event coming up in Seguin, Texas. If you want to check that out, that's going to be in October. Follow at that Bill Oakley on Instagram for updates and ticket availability when it comes out. And then the second hour, our pal Doug Scheiding from Road Cookers, giving us an update on his rub business, roadcookers.com. We're going to start August next week, if you can believe it. We'll have Malcolm Reed, we'll have Sam the Cooking Guy, we'll have many more guests, if you can believe that. So how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe, saying, come on! Come on!
It's Sam the Cooking Guy, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Some call him a fool, some even call him a douchebag, but I say Greg Rempe is the greatest thing to happen to barbecue since cavemen.